Hello friends, in today's video we're going to talk about body recomposition. So basically body recomposition means burning fat and building muscle at the same time. Now the question is this even possible? And the answer is yes, it's certainly possible, but not in all situations. And what I mean by that, we need to take a couple of things into consideration. So first thing we need to take in consideration is how much body fat do you actually have. So are you already very lean, like let's say 8% body fat, and you're trying to get down to 5% body fat and get like insanely shredded? Or do you have some more body fat, let's say you have 15-16% body fat and you're trying to get down to 10% body fat? Now it's pretty obvious to me that the more body fat you have, the easier it is to achieve body recomposition. Why? Well, because think of body fat as stored energy, stored calories on your body. So when you're recomping, obviously, when you're losing fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. Without calorie deficit, you can't be burning body fat. So therefore, you're not intaking enough calories, enough energy from the outside, from your food to support the muscle growth, but you have stored energy on your body in a shape of body fat, and this energy can be used to feed the recomp process. But if you don't have this energy, if you are like, as I mentioned before, very lean, let's say you're 7%, 8% body fat and you're trying to get down to 5% body fat, in that case, I think it's pretty much almost impossible to achieve body recomp because you already have that low body fat, you don't have enough energy coming from the outside, and you also don't have enough energy stored on your body to feed the muscle growth. Therefore, at this point, you will pretty much be just maintaining your muscle mass while burning body fat. But I think when you're like really lean, body recomp is pretty much impossible to achieve. But on the other hand, when you're fat, so let's say you're 15+% body fat, whether this is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20+% body fat, body recomposition is, I believe, much easier to achieve because you have plenty of energy stored on your body in a shape of body fat. Therefore, you have enough energy to feed the recomp process and to support the muscle growth throughout the calorie deficit. Okay, so done with the first thing. Now, second thing that we need to take in consideration is how advanced you actually are. So, are you a total beginner? Let's say you were a couch potato for majority of your life and you were just watching Netflix and chilling and eating food and getting fat. And now you're 25% body fat, but now you decided to get fit, and you want to lose some body fat and gain some muscle mass. So you bought yourself a gym membership and you started from nothing, you never touched a weight before. Or are you some advanced IFBB Pro bodybuilder that is pretty much at his almost 100% genetic potential? Let's say he can only gain 1 to 2 pounds of lean muscle mass more, and then he's pretty much done. So obviously, the more advanced you are, the closer you are to your genetic potential, the harder it is to build muscle in a calorie deficit. Then moving on to third thing that we need to take in consideration, and that would be, are you natural or are you using performance enhancing drugs? And honestly, there is not much to talk about here. If you are using performance enhancing drugs, body recomposition is much easier to achieve compared to if you're natural, period. That's pretty much it. That's how it is. Then fourth thing that we need to take in consideration is there any muscle memory involved in the process? So what I mean by that, are you at your peak, like at your biggest you ever were right now, trying to get even bigger? Or are you downsized a little bit? Let's say you had some injury, maybe a car accident, and you were on the bed rest for a couple of months and you didn't train and you lost some size. Or let's say you had a broken leg and you didn't train your legs and now you're trying to get back to your previous size. Or, for example, you just went on some vacation and you're lazy and you didn't want to train, so you didn't train for 4 months and you lost some muscle size, and now you decided you want to get back to the grind, and get big as fuck, And yeah, obviously, if you're at your biggest and trying to push for more, it's harder to recomp than if there is some kind of muscle memory involved, That's why we see so many times with athletes that get injured. I'll give you an example. Let's say I break my leg today and then I don't train for a couple of months. I mean, I would still train my upper body and the right leg, but let's say I don't. Let's say I break my leg and then I say, okay, now I'm not going to train up until my leg is okay. And then I'm going back to the grind right after I fix my leg. Obviously, in that period of time, if I don't train 4 months, especially in my leg, I would lose some muscle, because leg is just resting, it's not doing anything, and muscle obviously atrophies. And let's say I gain some body fat because I'm not as active, I don't burn as many calories, but I still eat my oats, and I get a little bit fluffy. So yeah, I lose muscle and gain body fat, but once I fix my leg, once I can train on 100% again, I would easily lose that body fat and gain all this muscle size back very fast. And then moving on to fifth thing, which is nutrition related, and that is in how big of a calorie deficit you actually are. So it's not the same whether you try to achieve body recomposition while starving yourself and being 1,000 plus calories into a deficit, or whether you're trying to achieve body recomposition in a small calorie deficit. Let's say you're 300 calories in deficit, possibly doing them not by reducing your food, but increasing your activity a little bit. If you're in too big of a calorie deficit, and your strength and overall performance in the gym is rapidly declining and you're not able to achieve progressive overload, but you're actually achieving progressive deload, then how do you expect to build muscle? If you want to build muscle in a calorie deficit, you still need enough food in order to feed this progressive overload so you can progressively get stronger over the time. Therefore, you provide the stimulus for the muscle growth. But if you're getting weaker, if you're losing your strength and your performance is rapidly declining, then obviously you're not going to build muscle. It's impossible, You can't get weaker every week and get bigger at the same time, You need a progressive overload in order to improve. So, the larger the calorie deficit, the harder it is to build muscle in that deficit, Then moving on to sixth and final thing that we need to take in consideration, and these are your genetics. Again, not much to talk about here, just like with pets. If you have better genetics to build muscle mass, it will be easier for you to build that muscle in the deficit too, compared to someone that has, let's say, bad genetics for size gain. Let's say he's we would say hard gainer or ectomorph, and he really needs to slam 5, 6, 7,000 calories in order to get some gains. For him it will be obviously much harder to cut and gain muscle at the same time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are 6 things that I think we need to take in consideration when we want to determine whether body recomposition, so losing fat and building muscle at the same time, is possible in certain situations. Now, we're not done with the video yet, because I want to talk about one more thing, and that is how would I approach body recomposition. I've done body recomposition many times on my body. I've done body recomposition many times on my clients, so I have quite some experiences with it, and this is like kind of formula how to do it, how to approach it. So first thing you need in order for body recomposition to happen, you need some body fat. So if you're, let's say, already below 10% body fat and you want to take your physique from very lean, let's say you're 8 to 9% body fat and you want to get down to 4 to 5% body fat, so you want to take your physique from very lean to insanely shredded, build stage ready, at this point you can pretty much forget about the body recomposition, because it's probably not going to happen. At this point you should call it a cut, and you just try to preserve your muscle mass while getting shredded. Unless you're on some really like full-blown cycle of androgens, I really don't think you'll be able to do it. So you need some body fat, and then what you do, you go into small calorie deficit. So that would be somewhere around 200 calories to max 400 to 500 calorie deficit. And preferably you want to create this deficit with, instead of decreasing your food, you would rather want to increase your activity. So you increase your expenditure. So you simply just eat on your current calorie maintenance, whether this is 3,000 calories per day, 3,500 calories, 4,000 calories, whatever it is. And instead of decreasing your food and depriving yourself from macro and micronutrients, you rather keep your food the same, but you add in a little bit more cardio. I find this works better with both me and my clients if we rather have more food and more activity. I believe it will result in better nutrient partitioning and in overall better results. About the macro split, you just set your macros as if you were doing a regular cut with a small calorie deficit, but as I said, you eat on a maintenance, so you stick to your 2 to 3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, preferably because we're doing a cut, right? Body recomp is still kind of cut because we're in a calorie deficit, but we're trying to gain muscle at the same time. So you would preferably want to stick to 3 grams of protein per kilogram body weight. So we want this protein to be high, you know. And then you have your approximately 1 gram of fats per kilogram body weight, as much as your current calories allow you, and then the other calories you just fill with carbohydrates. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then what you want to do from now is you want to focus on your training, and you want to focus on achieving progressive overload and getting progressively stronger over the time, so you're able to stimulate muscle growth. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Think of a body recomp as just a regular, a bit slower cut. When you do it a little bit slower because you're focusing on progressive overload and you actually want to build some muscle throughout the cut as well. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it doesn't there is not much difference between just saying, oh, I'm doing a cut or I'm doing a body recomp. It's just a cut when you're trying to gain some muscle throughout the process, and that's pretty much it. Hope you find my video useful. Like always, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment to support the channel's growth. If you need online coaching, DM me on Instagram, and yeah, have a great day and see you in next video.